What's up, my tricksters? It's your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero back again, this time with another deck profile for you guys. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys that there's a handful of ways that you can support me on this channel. And the first one is that you can check out the links in the description below. And you can check out your playmats where you will get 10% off if you use my link or my code. Code is next to the link in the description. And you can get a custom sleeve or mat with any artwork that you want on it. I have my logo because it's awesome. And the other way that you can support this channel is through my merch store. That's right, you guys can go get yourself a t-shirt and from my spring store and get you pretty much anything that you guys see here. Anyway, guys, without further ado, let's go check out some replay footage and then so you guys can see the deck in action, and then at the end we'll have the deck profile. And there you have it, guys. That was the replay footage. So let's kind of go over this deck list, and I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I'm not completely sold on this, but I thought that this had some really good replay footage, you know, that it was worth showing to you guys. So I'll probably still be messing with it, tinkering with it, trying things out, because there are still some cards I'm not sold on, but we'll discuss that as we get through the deck profile. So first of all, you got your Big Daddy Tyranno. Obviously, every dinosaur player has to play that. Now, Overtext. Now, this one's probably going to look a little bit weird to y'all, but because most of my deck profiles are based off of cards I actually own, I do only own the one Overtext and the one Amanadorn. I only own one of each. So, instead of playing, you know, two Amanadorn, I chose to play this. Plus, one of the other reasons why I actually like playing Overtext is because Overtext does provide me another level of negation. And let's face it, in this modern game, you need as many disruptors as you can possibly throw at your opponent. And Overtext also has the added benefit of, if it's not summoned off of the pill, I get to just add back a bunch of banished dinosaurs. And there are going to be games where you end up banishing, you know, 4 dinosaurs for a misc effect, believe it or not. Then there's Pancratops. You know, Pancratops. I mean, literally, I would play 3 of this if it was legal. Would actually solve some of my deck building problems. Anyway, Giant Rex, you only need 1. Miscellaneous, I also would play 3 of this if Konami wasn't being an asshole. Everybody else gets to do crazy shit, but no, God forbid the dinosaurs are allowed to do anything cool. Anyway, that's just me being a jerk at Konami. Anyway, then we got Oviraptor. This is one of our starter cards. Scrap Chimera is a combo piece to our other starter, which is Scrap Raptor, which is the whole reason why I even bothered to play this, is because I finally got a hold of the whole Scrap engine, and right now it seems like a really good time to switch over for me as a dinosaur player from Dino Dolls, which was a constant, reliable deck, to the Scrap Dinos, because Scrap Dinos provide combos with Lost World, but also, like, you know, being able to do potentially like a 1-card Xyz play. Believe it or not, there have been times where I bricked and went into the Timeless and drew into what I needed to continue playing. So the Scrap engine might be here to stay for me. I'm not quite sold on it. You probably are noticing, where's the Scrap Golem for those? I don't like the Scrap Golem. I think it just provides a brick that I don't need. When I really feel like this is all I need, and plus Scrap Raptor is more important out of any of it. So, like, literally, if Scrap Raptor could just go into and search another Scrap Raptor, I'm not sure that I would really care if, you know what I mean, or would play the Chimera, or if I had any of the other options, but that's a discussion for another day. Anyway, we got Token Collector at 3. Now, some of y'all are going, huh? Why Token Collector? I even got this question asked from a player who was playing Despia. Why are you playing Token Collector? I'm like, well, 1, I'm playing dinosaurs with Lost World. I can use Token Collector. Just as, you know, one of my tools to use. That's one of the coolest things about the Token Collector. It also is a level 4, which will let me go into some of my Exceeds plays, that's all relevant. Plus, popping dinosaurs, getting those babies popped in, you know, into the graveyard, you know, so I can get bigger dinosaurs, is just all yes. Also, fun fact, Overtext it can kind of count as an unofficial baby, because Lost World can pop any dinosaur. So, fun fact, sometimes I will pop the Overtext to make sure that I get the pill, especially if the initial play of Amanadorn didn't go through. So, then we got our Ash Blossom. I hate this card. I wish this card was banned, but unfortunately I have to play this card. There's a lot of cards I would like to see banned, but that's another discussion for another day. It's a necessary evil, unfortunately. Our babies Pterosaurus and our Pedetreon. Yeah, Pedetreon lets us get to Pancratops. That's the only reason it's in here. Otherwise, I think I would just play 3 babies if Pancratop wasn't an option. Effect Veiler. Effect Negation. The reason why also we play Effect Veiler over something like Infinite Impermanence is because we need those non-dinosaurs for the pill. So that's why I play an Effect Veiler. It's another card for us to banish off of the pill. One Amadorn. We all know the play, and in my opinion, really, one Amadorn is actually best because truth is, most of the time when you're using your Misc effect from the graveyard, this is the guy that you want, and he's the only one you want. Then we got the Change of Heart. This is one of those cards I'm still not quite sold on. The only reason it's in here is because it's legal, and I need to have cards to make it a 40-card deck. There are other options, of course, but and I'm actually not even sold on triple token collector either, to be honest. I kind of fluctuate between 1 and 2 typically, but I have to finish out the deck, so there's still like 2 spaces of cards that I think I would rather have in here, but also I'm a budget player, so don't be making expensive suggestions in the comments. But yeah, Change of Heart's in here. I mean, it's a powerful card if you draw it. It's very much like Harpy's Feather Duster in that aspect. We can't ignore that, you know, like all of these cards right here that have the 1 by them are powerful cards if you draw them. You know, and that's the thing. These guys are all very powerful spells. And if you draw them, they have a high impact. But Change of Heart's just the one that I like. Sometimes I feel like I would much rather have something else. It hasn't been unuseful every you know, when I've drawn it. It's either been really good bait to bait out negation, or in some cases I've completely turned off an opponent's entire field. Like I remember I was playing, I didn't get the replay for this guy, but I was playing against a Musketeer player, Magical Musketeers, and he didn't have the counter trap that negates. He only had stuff that he had the trap card that destroys in his hand. He had the spell that negates monsters, but he only had 1 Musketeer, and I was able to go, okay, cool, Change of Heart. I took his 1 level 4 Musketeer, and that shut off his entire hand of spells and traps that were Magical Musketeers. So there are plays, there are going to be instances in this game where Change of Heart can completely just turn off an opponent's turn, or it can be like the you know, like for example, I remember one player, I took a level 4 monster from them. I don't remember what deck I was playing against, but then I made Baguska installed until I could play. So it's a move. Then we got Fossil Dig. This helps us get to our starter cards: Amadorn, Scrap Raptor, Oviraptor, or our extenders like Miscellaneousaurus. So, Rhoda for dinosaurs. Really good. Super Poly! Every budget player's best friend right here. You are looking at it. If you are a budget player, and I know some of y'all are going to be like, huh? But you can get Super Polys for way cheaper than you can get Forbidden Droplets. Sorry. Facts. So, it's still the cheapest engine, and you can... yeah. So, Super Poly. And then, of course, there's a variety of decks that this card can be used against. Excuse me. Excuse me. And then we got our Lost World. Lost World is just a big-time combo piece. You want this card when you have an Oviraptor or a Scrap Raptor. Either of the Raptors plus this card is usually you are going to win the game. Usually. Obviously, if your opponent just has everything, they have everything. It is what it is. And the other necessary evil that I don't want to play, I equate this card to Ash Blossom. And this card has gotten a lot of ire as of late. I saw that the YCS winner was playing a Mystic Mine Sky Striker deck. And here's the thing, guys. I don't want to play Mystic Mine. I don't. But unfortunately, too many of you bastards out there want to play fucking 20-turn... You know, to want to take forever, make a 20-turn combo bullshit. And I'd rather just go, okay, cool, Mystic Mine. No. You can wait until I get the cards I need to play. Should have thought about that. Now, the cool thing about Mystic Mine is it does hurt a lot of the meta decks, but a lot of the meta decks also still have outs to it. For example, like Sword Soul and Fluanderees. For some reason, Fluanderees contribute Mystic Mine. I don't know what Konami was thinking with that one. That's the card that needs to go, is the one that stops is their out to anti-tribute stuff. That's the spell that needs to go in that deck, but we'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, Mystic Mine I feel is a necessary evil right now for this format. I hate it. I think everybody hates it except for Mystic Mind players, but the Mystic Mind deck players. But you know what? If Konami would just at least hit this thing to 1, it would solve like 90% of that problem. And yeah, and Mystic Mind deck players would just cry and bitch about it, but who cares what they think? They're not even real Yu-Gi-Oh players anyway. Anyway, but I'm being mean. I'm just kidding, guys, for the most part. Anyway, let's get to the extra deck. We got Link Kuriboh, because it's part of a combo to secure Gardena, so that we can turn Avenadorn into like the 1-card pill, essentially. Because basically you'll just, Avenadorn, blow up random Dino. Then you'll link off for the Link Kuriboh, then secure Gardena, and then voila. Basically, or if you happen to already have the pill, there you go. 1 card to meet the requirements. Then we got Pentestag. I still want to play it because, in earlier versions of this build, I was testing things like Track Black and Dark Ruler No More, and I was having some success, but right now this format isn't quite conducive to that strategy, so as much as I thought it would be. I learned that the hard way at the last regional. Anyway, Pentestag still facilitates OTKs. Our Scrap Wyvern. The Scrap Wyvern is in here, and it kind of serves also as the Nightmare Phoenix of cards to a point. Like, it's a long-winded way to do the same thing, but yeah. So that's why Nightmare Phoenix isn't in the extra deck. Plus, Scrap Raptor can potentially blow up a card and then also set up a Logia or Dolka play, which I really like. Unicorn, this is the first time I've played this card. It's because there are times where we need to get rid of more cards, and this is just another way to do that. Link up into higher stuff. It's not my favorite, but it is what it is. The Timeless, I really like this Xyz monster. This Xyz monster really lets just really allows us to play in a pinch. There are plenty of times in the game where I have had to make this guy to draw 2 just to get into combo pieces, and then of course turn him into something bigger and more useful. Baguska, this format unfortunately is another format where we're going to need cards like Baguska, like Winda, like Mystic Mind, like Ash. We're going to need more of these very cards, and Baguska right now is very helpful. Baguska slows down pretty much everything. Like, it even can slow down Floowandereeze, and I know it'll slow down Sword Soul and Despia. You play this card, it's basically just 2 turns to build up your card pool, and then just make moves from there, or slow them down until you're ready to OTK. In my case, Tornado Dragon. It's another reason why we don't have Nightmare Phoenix in here. It's we can make rank 4s so easily. It's just okay, cool. We'll just do this one, and this is more than likely a 2-fer. So it's gonna hit 1, and then on their turn hit another. So. Dolka is the best negate that dinosaurs could ever ask for. Logia and Dolka are both very important Xyz monsters for any dinosaur deck. Excuse me. Dolka here is a double negate. A lot of players still forget that. I know when I play dinosaurs on Edo Pro, I get a lot of flack for it because they're just like, ugh, dinosaurs. I thought this deck was dead. And then I proceed to step on them with a giant dinosaur and they get mad. Or they forget that Dolka is a double negate. Logia, fun fact, if you ever get Floowandereeze, you can negate the summon of a monster and pretty much end their whole turn. Just fun fact. If they force you to go first. And then, of course, I have the Vespanado here because I swear by it. There's no conditions for it. You just get to slap it over any rank 4 at any point in time. It's a Piercer. If it dies, you get a level 5 or lower monster. Level 5 or lower. So basically what I do is I usually will pick Oviraptor and get a search. Or if I feel like I need to, I could like bring back like a token collector, potentially blow up tokens or something. It just kind of depends. Most of the time I'm going for Oviraptor though. Then we got our Super Poly targets, our Mud Dragon of the Swamp. This is for Rogue. This is going to be for various decks, and I swear by it, so always have that one if you're playing that. Alright, so Cyberse decks are still something that we're going to be seeing a lot more of, especially since Salamangreat on the recent ban list got all of their stuff back pretty much. Konami's just like, here you go, Salad players. Annoy everyone. I'm not mad, I'm just mildly annoyed. I'm happy that another budget deck got, structure deck basically got its all of its power back, but I'm still a little bit jealous. Might be because I have structure deck envy from being a dinosaur player. Anyway. So duplexers for Cyberse decks. I do also think that we're going to see more Cyberse decks in the future. So it's just probably a good idea to keep this guy on hand. You don't have to main deck it if you don't want to. You can sideboard him, but I think you should probably have him in the main or the side, or the extra or the side, bending. Then we got Dragostapelia and Starving Venom. These two guys are just basically mostly just for Despia, but there are other dark decks out there. So just, have all your options. Alrighty, so now let's go to the sideboard. This is just my currently acting side. You do not have to play these cards. These are up to you entirely. I'm just choosing what I think worked well. I used to main deck the Dogoron, but since Kaijus have kind of seen a decline in effectiveness lately, I feel there's only a handful of decks that this Kaiju is actually useful for. And thanks to getting rid of Anaconda, we're not seeing as many cards like Dragoon running around. Like, Dragoon is still seeing play, he's just not seeing play in everything anymore, and because of that, I've decided to side the Dogoron, because I still have Super Poly if I happen to come across an opponent who's playing something like that, and Mystic Mind, because I could just bait and then play Mystic Mind, turn off their turn until I can play again. Or they're also the same strategy. Dinosaurs kind of have an inherent little advantage over stuff like that because we do have things like Ultimate Tyranno. We can play Mystic Mind, Super Poly, all these kinds of random things. So yeah, Dogoron, I feel like it's still needed, but it's a backseat need. So then we got Artifact Lancia. This is going to be good for all of your Berta matches, pretty much. If you're up against Fluanderies or Tri-Brigade, basically annoying bird people, you play Lancia, you go. Now you don't get to banish, and then your opponent goes and pulls all their hair out. It's fan-fucking-tastic. All right, Nether Soul, because our opponents are playing Zombie World, either as a side option for a lot of decks, or they're going to be playing it in the main. I've seen it too many times on Edo Pro already. So, and in my real life, zombie decks are still a pain in the ass. Like literally. Zombie World Eldritch is still a scary deck to play against, especially if you're a type-based deck. And that deck is Kryptonite to Fluanderies, which is one of the big three right now. So basically, we're gonna have a Nether Soul just kind of waiting in the wings, ready at the drop of a hat, because because the truth is, if you're playing if you're playing any kind of fusion deck, you're probably playing the Zombie World package with the Banshee, so that you can turn off Wanderies. And a lot of those players will side that stuff in against us because dinosaurs are very type dependent, unfortunately. So basically, this kind of gives us a chance to fight back by super polying all the zombies away, including their monsters. Dark Ruler No More is another card we kind of need, which also could be main decked if you don't want to do the super poly stuff like me. Like if you have a Boral Sword or something and you want to go for like a synchro kind of option, go for it. I'm not gonna dispute you because that's more negation, and you can main deck Dark Ruler or whatever. This card is still very powerful. It's just it's kind of like I mostly just am using it against Fluanderies because Super Poly is useless against them because Konami didn't make any kind of fusions for birds that are wind attribute. They haven't made anything generic for that yet. So until they do, Super Poly is useless against that deck, and we got to play Dark Ruler No More. Hey Trunade, Cosmic Cyclone, these cards are basically just anti-back row. Whatever anti-back row cards you can get your hands on, I say use whatever you can get your hands on. Hey Trunade kind of forces cards like Altergeist and Eldritch and a lot of times even Fluanderies players to go ahead and activate all of their stuff now because they won't get access to it later. So that's the reason why we play Hey Trunade in here. Also, it does the same thing for Sky Striker, and we are definitely going to see more Sky Striker players in the future, I promise you that. Cosmic Cyclone kind of fills in the holes where Hey Trunade doesn't really fix, because Cosmic Cyclone kind of banishes cards, so this is also good against other Mystic Mind decks, that kind of thing. Then I've got Book of Eclipse in here. I'm still not sure I want to play this, but I was testing it out. It has helped me against Sword Soul and Fluanderies a few times, because putting that stuff face down, is kind of good. And yeah. And then, of course, you have the end-all, be-all hate card for back row-based decks, Red Reboot. And I wish this card was at 3, so that Altergeist players would go away forever. Anyway, that is this Scrap Dino deck. And you guys will see this deck again in the future, because I am 100% going to be tweaking it afterwards. I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys something to look at, to see if you guys want to give me some of your budget repeat budget suggestions in the comments below. I am opening to hear them. I would love to, because there's plenty of room in here to move stuff around, take cards out, etc. if there is something better worth playing. You guys let me know that in the comments below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. If you're new to the Ben 10,000 of YGO channel, please consider subscribing. I'm your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh! Superhero, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.